Given the annual interest rate and a line of the amortization schedule for the loan, complete the next line of the schedule, assuming monthly payments and rounding our answers to the nearest cent. So this is the first line of the table representing the first month. The interest rate's 8.9%. The monthly payment is $357.31. The amount of interest paid was $42.20. The amount paid on principal, in other words, what was used to lower the amount owed on the loan, was $315.11, and the resulting balance at the end of the month was $5,372.10. One thing you'll notice, if you add the interest paid and the paid on principal together, you get the total payment. In other words, thinking of another way, the amount you pay on principal is the total monthly payment minus the amount that went to interest, and that's going to be important later on. So they want us to complete the next line of the table. First thing to notice is that the interest rate doesn't change. That's fixed. So you can go ahead and put 8.9% all the way down. Same is true of the monthly payment. The monthly payment is steady from month to month, so you can move that all the way down its column. So really we only have three quantities to calculate. So to get the interest paid, we've got to think about how to calculate interest. Now this is just for 1 month. Each row of this table, every row of this table represents 1 month. So the interest rate is 8.9% annual, but we're going row by row, so we're going month by month. So what you really want to do is change the annual interest rate into a monthly interest rate. So that way every time we do a row of the table, we're just using that a month's worth of interest. You're not paying the 8.9% out all at once. You're paying out a 1/12 of it every month. So the first thing we want to do is calculate and change that annual rate to a monthly rate, and we know how to do that. That's where the little I equals R over M comes from. If you take the annual interest rate and divide it by the number of compounding periods in a year, you've changed that to a interest rate per period, and here the period is a month, so you're going to be dividing by 12. So take 8.9%, change it to a decimal, that makes it 0.089, divide it by 12, and I'll actually show the calculation, just a little bit extra practice on the calculator. You would do 0.089 divided by 1,2 equal, and you get 7.41, a bunch of sixes with a 7 on the end, and then an exponent, -0.3. Remember we talked about that is the calculator's way of expressing its version of scientific notation, and that -0.3 means that you've got to take the decimal place and move it 3 places to the left. So when you do that, that decimal that used to be here gets moved 1, 2, 3 over here, and so now we've calculated I, and that is the monthly rate. So that of the 8.9%, it pays out that much every month. I'm going to move it off to the side so we'll have some room to calculate. Remember, we did that so we can compute the amount of interest. Now, the amount of interest paid is very simple. It's simply based on how much you owed the previous month. How much you ended a month owing is what you begin the next month owing. So that's like your principal for the next month. So the interest paid is what you owed the previous month multiplied by that monthly rate. Very simple. You'll always be doing that, taking the rate per period, which you've already calculated, and multiplying it by go back to the previous month and multiply it by that balance. So there's previous balance is 5,372.10, and the little I is what we calculated earlier. If you multiply those together, you end up with 39.84307.142, and we're asked to do that to the nearest cent. So if we want to put that back up where the question mark is, we'll round that off to 84 cents. And there we go. We've calculated the interest paid. Now we want to get the amount paid on principal. Well, we talked about this a little earlier. These two quantities always add up to the total payment. So conversely, if we take the interest paid away from the monthly payment, we'll get the paid on principal amount. So again, subtract the interest paid from the amount of the payment, and that gives you how much you paid on principal. So let's carry that out. That's 357.31 minus 39.84, and that comes out to $317.47, and that goes into the column for paid on principal. Almost done. The final balance is simply what you owed the previous month minus what you paid down on it. And remember, the interest is sort of the bank's profit, so all the balance only decreases by the amount paid on principal. So again, the new balance is the prior month's balance minus the amount paid on principal. Do that calculation and you get $5,054.63. So now after 2 months, or after those 2 months, we only owe $5,054.63. And we completed the table. It's just that simple.